Hello, this is Tom Check, and we're here for another episode of Tom Talks. And today with us is Christi Jaeger, a graduate of the Water Studies program in 2013. We are so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, Tom.
Tell us a bit about where are you at now and what are you doing?
Yeah, so I am up in Washington State in the greater Seattle area. I work for a local municipality, the city of Shoreline. And in that position, my job is the education and outreach coordinator. So my work really looks like building programs and developing messaging to encourage pollution prevention behavior, and also stewardship activities like stream restoration, taking care of our drains, and just keeping any and all pollutants that we can out of our waterways.
So your outreach work, what does that look like in terms of your online presence, and then prior to COVID, the in-person presence?
Yeah, so actually, we've been really fortunate to continue to keep an in-person presence. So the online presence really looks like, we have day-to-day messaging through our social media platforms. So just really providing these very specific behaviors and sort of motivational, kind of framed in ways that we know motivate that behavior change as well, and providing resources for that behavior. And then online as well. We've moved some of our workshops that we have into an online format, which has been really successful. So we offer workshops around gardening practices oftentimes, because we know that that's a large source of pollution from pesticides, fertilizers, weed and feed, and just really the over application of those. And so a lot of our workshops have moved online to support that learning and have been really successful that way.
That's been great.
Yeah. In person, one of the programs that I manage is called Soak It Up. It is a rain garden.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Soaking
up the water.
I love it.
Yeah. So it's a rain garden and native vegetation landscaping rebate. So we're looking at native conversion and then also building rain gardens so that we can disconnect residential and commercial downspouts out of the city stormwater system and direct them into the rain gardens. And so the idea behind that is just slowing all of the flow of the water that's going into the right of way, and really trying to create that pre-industrial ecoscape that we had, where water filtered in through groundwater slowly and filtered out any pollution that way.
What's your response like from your clients, your customers?
Yeah, so people are very, very interested in these programs. I probably go out in the city of Shoreline. I go out probably to about 200 to 250 households a year just to do a visit to see, is it feasible to put a rain garden in their home? Is it feasible to do native landscaping under our program guidelines? And then we have up to 10 rebates, generally speaking, that we can offer per year. And those are typically maxed out.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we first met at MSU Denver. Well, you graduated 2013, so a few years before that. How did you hear about the Water Studies program back in the day when you were there?
Yeah. So I think that the Water Studies program was still very new. I think maybe it had started the year before. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So I was an environmental studies minor originally, but in my role, I was a psychology major, environmental studies minor, and I was really interested in attitudes, understandings, behavior around conservation behaviors. And so when I heard about the OWOW Center opening up, I was really interested because drought was such a huge issue at the time. There was a significant drought going on in Colorado at the time. And my passion has always been really applied sort of work. So taking that research and applying it into strategies to motivate behavior. And so it was a perfect opportunity that lent me all sorts of chances to do independent studies around these issues and really combine my environmental interests and using that psychology lens to understand where people stood and how people were impacted by the ongoing drought, and then also to do internships as well related to that.
You helped us with our first campus survey of kind of water attitudes toward water stewardship, I believe.
Yes, I did. Yeah, that was a fun survey too, because it was we were looking across all the departments.
Yeah.
And so, students in every single major to see what folks were thinking.
Hey, how did the water studies minor and your coursework at MSU Denver help you academically when you went on to grad school and then your current job?
Mm-hmm. So I will say that I think that my participation in the water studies minor was really one of the big pieces that helped me get into the grad program that I did. So I ultimately went to Cal State San Marcos,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked with Dr. Wesley Schultz out there, who is a fantastic conservation psychologist who's known for doing a lot of applied work himself. And so I think that in doing the water studies minor and having so many opportunities to do that work applied and to get, you know, those sort of real world interactions, that really helped me to, you know, move on into a research lab that was doing that type of work as well. I think it actually made me pretty unique as an undergrad coming in with that experience.
That is great. While you were there in California, you won the Dean's Award for
I think it's the Dean's Excellence Award,
the Dean's
or the
Excellence
Dean's
Award.
Award. Yeah,
Yes.
something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So I did win that. Yeah. Thank you. I think that, you know, sort of the reason why I was selected for that award had to do a lot with the research that I was doing there. So right after the Colorado drought, the drought hit California, and it was really serious. You know, I think it was probably one of the bigger responses that they had. So in 2015, all of the jurisdictions around and water districts had mandatory conservation targets. And if they missed those targets, the state would fine them $10,000 a day.
Oh my.
Yeah, so, you know, they were serious about making changes. And so the work that we did, we partnered with water districts and tested different messaging to see, you know, looking at traditional types of messaging like information only or threatening penalties, to strategies that we know through other research to be more effective, like leveraging social norms that say everybody's joining up to do this together, and by gathering commitments from people who are sort of ready to act. And we looked to see if there were short-term changes in behavior or long-term changes in behavior, and tried to really understand what that meant in terms of a comprehensive response to, you know, motivating behavior. In some situations, you know, you want that short-term immediate behavior, but ideally when it comes to conservation, we also do want to start seeing that long-term conservation behavior adopted to weather these ups and downs between droughts.
And fascinating, because people's attitude to their willingness to change or be at least aware of what's going on in terms of water conservation, water stewardship. That's fascinating. I've got one final question for you, and that is, what advice would you have for MSU Denver students who are thinking about looking into the water studies minor or certificate?
Yeah, well, I would say that definitely look into it. It's a fantastic program, and I just think of, you know, water resources. I mean, we have quite a few pressing environmental problems during our time, which is both, you know, overwhelming and can be scary, but often also poses lots of opportunities to get involved and find careers in these areas and make a difference. And I would say the OWOW program, the water studies minor, is really fantastic. It set me up not only for the water conservation work that I'm doing and all of the careers that go along in that track, but also now the pollution prevention for our surface waters, which really is more related to preservation of our natural waterways, which really supports, you know, our maritime economies. And so I think that there are tons of opportunities, and my advice would be talk with Tom. It's great to see, you know, what's out there and where this, you know, where this work might take you.
Our first conversation was at Dazbog Coffee.
It sure was.
That's where we started.
Dazbog Coffee.
Yes,
yeah.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. Tom gave me tons of help. I mean, you really helped me with tailoring. You know, I sort of had these ideas of what I wanted to do, and you made a lot of that possible. So thank you.
You're so kind. Thank you. It's been wonderful to talk to you. And we're so excited about what you're doing now and your accomplishments. It's just been wonderful to watch your career grow. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Take care. Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye.